What do you do when your passion is not enough? When your talents do not change the fact that the opportunity to showcase them are just out of reach. You get up and you plan and you plot and then you just do. That's what I learned during my studies for my bachelor's degree. My journey began as an honor student. I had been in advanced classes and received good grades since kindergarten. Growing up, much of my identity was centered on being a star student. I entered college with a full scholarship and a full-time job. I was a young preschool teacher, and I wanted to be the best. Being so young and in a leadership position left me feeling as if I always had something to prove. I was supervising people double and sometimes triple my age. My priority definitely drifted away from my schoolwork. School had always come so easy to me. I figured I'd have no problem keeping up, but I was wrong. I didn't fail. I maintained a 3.2 GPA, which was just short of the 3.3 scholarship requirement, and therefore my scholarship was revoked and I was no longer a part of the honors program. When it hit me that I would have to pay for my own education, I was devastated. Who was I outside of being an honor student? I had to take out student loans. I just knew I would be broke for the rest of my life. I know having a 3.2 GPA isn't something to be ashamed of, but to me, that was equivalent to failing, and I continued to act as a failure. I became depressed, slept a lot, started making unhealthy decisions, and hardly ever went to class the next 2 semesters. I treated myself badly and consequently attracted bad company. I was on a downward spiral, partying, sleeping, and skipping class until I woke up one day to a phone call from a family friend. It was my yoga instructor who had trained me to be a yoga instructor before I entered college. She wanted me to return to instructing yoga classes. Reluctantly, I said yes, and I believe that was the moment I woke up and decided something had to change. I wasn't sure what or how, but I was sure that I was wasting my time and potential. That one wake-up call flicked a switch, and I've been taking steps to regain my happiness ever since. Along the path, I've most definitely stumbled, fallen flat on my face, and had to figure out how to get up and start again. The most recent example was my plight to assist my university with developing its first ever study abroad program. I had never been out of the country, and I wanted so desperately to be taken out of my comfort zone and to be immersed in a different culture while learning a new language. My school was very enthusiastic about sending students abroad, but this wasn't exactly a top priority. Attending a smaller HBCU with limited resources, I quickly learned that starting a new program in such a short time would prove to be problematic. For an entire semester, I worked tirelessly with my campus advisors to prepare applications for outside study abroad programs. Due to my university's inexperience with study abroad, I missed some scholarship deadlines that required clearance from my university's administration. To rectify this mishap, I worked closely with the administration to implement a signature program in which they agreed to sponsor me for my efforts. Unfortunately, 2 weeks before departure, my university informed me that they were unsuccessful in securing the proper funding. I had already had a going away celebration, quit my job, and not to mention, I opted out of graduating a semester earlier so that I could have this experience. What would you have done? I'll admit that I was angry and deeply disappointed and very, very, very embarrassed. But even with all these emotions racing, I didn't miss a beat. I went on to graduate, secured a job as a program specialist with a nonprofit organization that promotes youth achievement through global engagement. I'm also working toward a certification to teach English overseas. I took my quest for global engagement and inner peace into my very own hands. I'm never going back on that downward spiral because I am energized and I am resilient. This is grit.